everybody, do you ever wonder when you're watching a gear review if the person doing the review is actually being honest with you? I've been really thinking about this in the last few months, and that's because I too started reviewing gear and I started researching how to make money on YouTube and how to make money doing gear reviews. I always knew that I had to take all reviews with a grain of salt. I didn't really realize how big of a grain of salt I should have been using. It was because there were some items that I bought that YouTubers really recommended, and they were either crappy or totally useless. Items that I never ever took with me even one time. You have to be really careful out there when sifting through reviews. You need to remember that there are a bunch of ways that YouTubers get gear. One of them is if a gear company reaches out to them and says, hey, I'm gonna send you this piece of gear if you will do a review for me. And then a lot of times there's a mutual agreement to get the gear and then give a good review. Sometimes gear companies will reach out to people and sponsor them to do a trip, and then they'll have to wear a piece of their gear and talk about the piece of gear during the trip. Sometimes gear companies will give things called affiliate links, which could be just offering a discount to people that are watching a video, or it could also be when you click on that affiliate link, it goes to the item and then that person gets a certain amount of money if that item is purchased. The gear that people are going to review is probably going to be the gear that they're affiliated with. That's because they want to make sure that they promote as much of the gear of that company as possible because they're getting a commission. That's perfectly okay as long as they let you know that that's what's happening. But if you see a YouTuber that's talking about gear from the same company over and over again, it's usually because they're affiliated. There can also be sponsorships of a channel where a YouTuber is given a certain amount of money or given a certain amount of products to talk about those products on that video. So that means that every time you see a gear review, whether it be on YouTube or on a website, whatever, you need to remember that that person probably has some kind of agreement to give a positive review on that item. I'm sure that I'm leaving some stuff out because I don't know everything yet. I just kind of started at this. I did finally sign up for Amazon affiliates, which is great. And I do have one affiliate link from Hyperlite, which I don't even think works anymore because when you click on it, it doesn't give a discount anymore. So I think those are only valid for 30 days. You have to remember too that people can only review items that they have in their hands. And the only way they're going to get an item, if they're not super rich and can buy every item that they're reviewing, is if somebody actually sends it to them. So keep in mind that when somebody is reviewing an item, it doesn't mean that they've seen every single item out there. It doesn't mean that they know exactly what's best on the market because they may not have been able to test every item on the market. There may be a lot they've tested, but no one can test everything unless they're actually sent the products. So just because you haven't seen something reviewed, it doesn't mean that it's a bad item. It just means that maybe somebody never had the item in hand to review it, or maybe you're just not following the exact YouTuber that is sponsored by that exact company. It could also mean that that company is small and they don't have a big enough budget to send items out to people for free. If you really want information about an item, Google the item name, Google the item brand, look for it on YouTube, look for it across the web for different kinds of reviews, and make sure that you read several because that one person may not have access to all the other great items out there. For example, if you're looking for a trail runner, don't just go and buy the first one that you saw a YouTuber say that it's great because there may be 10 other runners out there that he didn't review that might be awesome too. Make sure that you think about your needs because every single person out there has different needs, and so does every different reviewer. One person may be an ultralighter and has completely ultralight gear, so the only thing that they're going to review are ultralight packs that can carry maybe 10-pound base weight. Other YouTubers may be reviewing the conventional gear from, say, Gregory or Mystery Ranch, stuff that isn't considered ultralight. Maybe they've never had an ultralight gear company reach out to them. Maybe they've never even tried ultralight packs. It may be that they're saying that ultralight packs are terrible because they've never tried them. Just make sure that you take everything with a grain of salt and look for several reviews on the same item that you're looking for. And make sure that you take a look at what else is out there and get all the other opinions on all the other items that are out there. One of the reasons I created this channel, other than wanting to share my trip videos with family and friends, was because I have an obsession with gear and I'm constantly looking at different gear videos and different reviews and trying to find the perfect piece of gear and trying to find out what's best for me. And so I'd like to share it with everybody else. I'm a super tiny channel. The only thing that anybody has reached out to give me is dog gear so far. Apparently they love my dogs more than they love me. That's fine. So everything that I review is stuff that I buy. And I'm not going to buy anything if I haven't researched it to death. When I say research, I mean research in air quotes. That's not really what research means, Googling something and listening to reviews, but that's what I do. So I'm not going to actually invest my money in anything that isn't awesome. But of course, that item is going to be awesome for me. It may not be awesome for your use case. You have to think about what I'm looking for in packs versus what you're looking for in packs. Don't buy something just because I say it's great. One thing that I promise you is that I'm always going to tell you if I'm affiliated with someone, and I'm always going to tell you if somebody gave me a piece of gear for free. I have no problem accepting a piece of gear from a company and taking a look at it and using it. But every time I take something from a company, I am never going to make an agreement with them that I'm going to give them a good review. I'm going to make sure that they know up front that could be no review at all if the item is terrible. I'm not even going to share it with you. Or it could be a mixed review, or it could be a good review depending on if I like the item. I also am going to make a promise that if I am affiliated with anything, I'm not going to tell you that something is good when it's not. I'm going to make sure that companies know I'm honest. This is probably going to scare away tons of companies. They're probably not going to want to send me anything because they'll be scared that I'll do a bad review. But what is the point of doing a review if you can't be honest? As you know, I've already done a couple of reviews of items that we bought ourselves and I didn't like them and I was totally honest about it. I'm going to keep doing that. So that is my promise to you guys, is I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can be. And if you see that I don't review something, it doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't like it. It just means that maybe I didn't get it. But if there's anything you'd really like me to review and you want me to take a look at, just throw it in a comment below and I will read all the comments and see what I can do. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because the more subscriptions that I get and the more likes that I get and the more people that actually watch the video, the more companies will reach out and hopefully send me gear so that I can review them for you guys.